is Eric Gomez, and I'm one of the founders and rod makers with Leviathan Outdoors, which is an Austin, Texas-based fishing rod manufacturer. And we are shooting a series of 4 videos which are aimed at helping to inform you to make the best rod purchases you possibly can. We want you to know what makes one rod stand out from the other ones. You know, what makes a great rod as opposed to just a good rod. And these 4 videos are going to cover things like the rod blanks themselves, the rod's reel seats, the grips, and the guides. So in this first video, we're talking about the rod blank. And we're going to be focusing on graphite blanks in particular because graphite blanks have come to dominate the market. As a side note, you can also get rods made with fiberglass, which is very durable, tried and true medium for fishing rod blanks. It tends to be a little heavier, a little more flexible, and also a little cheaper. But those have come to be dominated by graphite, so we're focusing on graphite blanks. Now, in terms of graphite blanks, the things you want to pay attention to are really the application that the blank is being made for. Maybe the modulus, and I'll explain maybe in a little bit. The action, the length, and the power. So application is far and away the most important factor to consider when you're selecting a fishing rod, and that requires a little bit of research on your part. Are you going to be wanting to fish inshore in the bays, using sort of a popping technique, go after a rod that's made for inshore applications? Are you going to want to be throwing crankbaits? Crankbait rods tend to be closer to a moderate fast action, or just moderate. They tend to be a little bit heavier, medium heavy, and around the 7 to 7.5 foot length. So you really want to know the application, and by knowing the application, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to get a pretty decent useful rod. Modulus is a tricky area to focus on because it's not standardized across the fishing industry. A mid-modulus rod at one company could be a high-modulus rod at another. Also, the terms like IM6 or IM7, those aren't standardized either. So it's really hard for you as a consumer to use modulus as the sole criterion when selecting a fishing rod. Also, the quality of the modulus or the strain rate of the modulus varies across companies, and it's really hard to find out what the strain rate of the particular fibrous material is of the blank you're looking at or the rod you're looking at. I know that with some high modulus rods in particular, if you don't fish them right, you can snap them, and because the strain rate isn't where it probably could be, and there goes your several $100 investment. So stick to application. Look for mid-modulus rods, somewhere in that range, and that'll get you as far as things like that. So the other things to focus on are the power, the action, and the length of the rods. So in terms of power, power basically means how thick the blank is, how heavy it is. A safe all-around power is around a medium or medium heavy, and that's pretty straightforward. The action refers to how fast the tip is, right? So a faster action is going to bend closer to the tip. It's going to be a stiffer blank, and a slower action is going to bend closer to the midpoint of the blank, and it's going to seem to be a little bit more wobbly, a little bit more flexible. A good action for your typical weekend fisherman is fast or moderate fast. And then finally, the rod's length. A good all-around fishing rod is going to be around 7 feet. That can stretch to 7'2", or it can go down to 6'10". But that's typically a great length for your weekend warrior, your avid fisherman. Any shorter or longer is going to delve into specific applications. So let's try to stay away from those links unless you know a particular technique that you're trying to fish. And that basically covers rod blanks. So stay tuned for the other 3 videos where we're discussing the components of the fishing rod.